welcome. Thank you for spending some of your time with us. This is Knowledge for Wellness, and my name is Tina Rosenquist. And this show is to better inform you, because the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. And knowledge is power. And today's discussion is about the Accelerated Recovery Performance System. In our previous interview, ARP Wave selected 5 candidates to receive 10 free treatments with ARP Wave. If you have been living with aches and strains, you know how debilitating pain can be. While many people resign themselves to having to live with it, the ARP Wave machine utilizes electrical waves to trace and treat the source of the pain by urging tightened muscles to relax and stretch. This program gets you back into action sooner, and many say even better than before. Bringing us this information will be Dennis Thompson, who developed the ARP Wave system, the nation's foremost authority on neurological muscle stimulation. The doctors worked with Dennis and Jay for the selection process, and we will be following each candidate participating during their 1st, 5th, and 10th treatments. Our camera crew went out to the ARP Wave headquarters to capture Tim's first treatment.
Ah!
Hi.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Just do me a favor and lay down on your back there. Good. Perfect. Okay, now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to test to see if your nervous system is sending the right electrical signals to your muscles to allow them to do what they're supposed to do. Okay? You've heard of an EMG? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's internal. What most people don't realize is the muscles are the only external source of the nervous system. It's the output of the nervous system. So I'm going to test your muscles. It has nothing to do with strength. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do, raise your leg up just like that. Curl your toes back toward your eyes. You push up. I'm going to push down. Ready? Go. Perfect. That's all I'm looking for. You push up. I'm going to push down. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing with an arch in your back. Just slight arch in your back. You push up. I'm going to push down. Nothing. You push up. I'm going to push down. Nothing. Okay, so we know that the second you arch your back, you lose the ability to absorb force. So remember what you told me earlier? You said after I sit in a chair for a prolonged period of time, you know, I get really tight. Well, now you know why. Because when you sit in the chair, you start to slouch, and when you slouch, you get into that position you just got into. Okay. Now what I need to do is figure out, is there an anatomical reason for that action to happen? So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to test to see if you can absorb force coming in through your feet, okay, because that's where all the force comes in. Okay, so remember how strong you are. You push up, I'm going to push down, nice and strong. So now I'm going to mimic you running. You push up. Good. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. So you pass that test. Now, we're nice and strong here. Push up. Nothing. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So no matter how hard you try to hold that leg up, it's not going to work. To demonstrate that again, you're nice and strong in this position, right? The second you take a step, jump, walk, or whatever, all the force that's coming into here is creating a destabilization right here, evidenced by the fact that I'm going to pull your arm out. Pull your arm back as hard as you can right there. See how strong you are right there? Mm-hmm. Resist, hard as you can. Nothing is going to work in your body. This is an electrical short. Okay? Drop it down. So there's 2 places in the human anatomy where muscle doesn't go like this. One of them is right here. The other one is right here. So because of that, it creates a disconnect down here. So this force coming in is supposed to be absorbed here, 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 and here. Mm-hmm. In your case, it's going right to there. So the muscles are going to go like that to protect. Henceforth, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel tight. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to internal or external rotate the way you want to. And it's going to be very difficult to run. Side motion is going to kill you because your IT band is going to just be flared up. Okay? And it's all coming from right there. Now, 99% of the people that you've been to treat you where? Right here?
More or less, yeah.
That's where the problem ended.
Right.
That's where the problem's coming from.
Okay.
Which would you want me to work? Here or there? Probably there, right?
Down there.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stabilize that and show you just how important this is. Okay. So I'm just going to slide this out here, grab this. Okay, now, since there's no muscle, the muscle grows like this. So there's no muscle that goes this way. So I have to add a support mechanism here to compress that ligament. So at some point in the last 3 years, you've either severely sprained this ankle or this ankle. Which is it?
Well, I haven't sprained either of them, although I did break this leg a few years ago, and that ankle was...
Wait a minute, 2 years ago?
No, about 4 years ago.
Ah, so 4 years ago is previous to the 2 years ago when all the symptoms started happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you break this leg, what's going to happen to this leg over here?
Probably overcompensate.
You can't do any work over here, right? So all the work is going to be done over here. So you got twice as much work going on over here. So you stress that ligament down there. So we have what's called a joint receptor problem. This joint receptor is unstable. What I'm going to do right now is stabilize it. Now you're going to have to wear this, not this specific tape, but you're going to have to tape this with athletic tape, or you can use like an ankle strap or whatever. But you're going to have to do this for 6 weeks because it takes 6 weeks to compress that ligament back to homeostasis. And in this case, you'll see a difference immediately. Okay. All right, now lay your head back. Push up. I'm going to push down. See how nice and strong you are. Remember what happened last time I did this? Push up. See the difference? Now, put your arm out like that. Pull back. Keep it right there. Pull back. Can't move it. That's how quickly you can solve that. Now, think of this as shock absorbers. I just gave you new shock absorbers. But if you didn't have shocks that were working before, does it make sense to you that there might be some kind of damage caused by the shocks not working? So that's what we're going to find out now. Okay? So let's have you, and most of the pain that you get is right in there. Is that right? Right about there.
Down here.
Okay. All right. So let me grab my chair. Isn't that wild? How just that stuff like that? People don't realize how damaging a sprained ankle actually is because you broke your leg, they casted it, right? But let's say you sprained that ankle. Well, we get rid of the swelling, we get rid of the pain, you'd be using rest, ice, compression, elevation. Now 2 or 3 weeks, you're fine, right? Within 6 months' time, you're going to have this problem right up here, or a knee problem, or a back problem, or a hamstring problem. One of those things is going to break down because it can't consistently keep sustaining that force coming in because this is not designed to absorb force. Okay? So what we're going to do is find out where the problem's coming from. Which side's worse, right or left?
Right.
Okay? Okay. So I'll just grab this.
And after breaking that leg, that right ankle was stiff for months and months and months.
Yeah. And you've told other doctors you broke your leg, and nobody put this 2 and 2 together?
Not the way you've shown it. No, I haven't seen it done like that.
That's really interesting. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. Just think of this as a ground. I'm just getting this out of my way. I know that your hip flexors are not your problem. So, all right, now raise your leg up. Okay, perfect.